So if we get to the point where we practice spirituality and we understand Laird's idea of the truth, which is what works, then we can all get healthy and we can all become conscious enough to love and respect the plants and the animals and only eat them as an offering to become human. When I eat an animal or a plant, I don't kill it. God can't die. If God exists, that means nothing can die. It can only be transformed. So when I pray to my food, I say, "Dear food, thank you for the love you are giving me now. Thank you for the love you have given Mother Earth and Mother Universe. It is with great love and respect that I bring you into my being. Together, we will make the world a better place for all living beings now and in the future. Om, peace, amen." I bring that into my body, and I don't even imagine that I'm killing the animal or the plant. I imagine that they're now getting to be human. Everything I've ever eaten is sitting here right now sharing with you, and if I hadn't eaten it, could I be here with you guys? No. So if I didn't eat animals just to save a few animals, I'd be a sick person. Could I be helping you? No. I would be one of the guys with his hair falling out. Right? So this is 50 years of research in this.
I'm happy you brought that up about the spiritual energy of different animals. So are you saying that if I wanted to go out and if I'm going to go, say, to my championship football game, or I'm going to go to a boxing match, or I'm going to go get in a fight, whatever it may be,
yeah,
would it be a wiser decision to eat a big, strong, like flesh from a big, strong, moving animal versus like say a pig that's raised on a farm versus a buffalo that's free range?
Basically, and this is an ancient Egyptian philosophy as well. The Egyptians believe this, and so did many native philosophies. Remember, you're not just bringing the animal as material building blocks into you. You're bringing the blood and the spirit of that animal into your body. You're bringing the consciousness of that animal into your body. So, let's say you wanted to be a bodybuilder, or you were, working in heavy construction. Well, if you ate the flesh of a bull, you're also eating the consciousness of the bull itself. So when you need to carry a load and be strong, then naturally you're going to get a psychophysical transfer from that animal. If you just ate a bunch of salad flowers, you wouldn't get the same effect. If you ate a cuddly little panda bear, you wouldn't get the same effect. Mm-hmm. And the reason people are so the reason this type of information has become so intellectual is because we have lost our spiritual elders. We've lost our guides. We've lost all the people that live this way that actually taught us what I'm teaching you right now. So it just becomes a head job. But if you actually spend time in your own life, for example, let me show you how easy this is to do. Go out and buy yourself enough shark to live on shark for 3 or 4 days. And write down how your moods change. Write down whether you feel more or less aggressive. Then eat something else for a few days and stick to it. So there's not too many things in the mix, right? Because if you're eating some shark and some chicken and some broccoli and some mung beans, you don't know who's who, right? There's too many voices. So you have to be brave enough to do what I've done my whole life, which is do what I call legitimate spiritual research. Mm-hmm. Open up, ask your soul to guide you, and be open to the experience, for better or for worse. Meaning if you get aggressive and nasty and pick fights with your girlfriend or whatever, just let her know when you start the experience. Honey, I'm going to eat shark for the next few days, so, I might get a little aggressive, and, I don't know what's going to happen. So, I'm just wanting to share that with you. This is an experience. And then she becomes a source of feedback, and she says, boy, when you were eating that shark, you were a real shark. Right? So, you see, but because people are so sick and their consciousness is so clouded up with rigid ideas from dogmatic philosophies, they don't have enough openness and connection to their own inner state to actually feel the influence of what they're eating or who they're hanging out with is on them. It's all about social approval. It's all about what he's doing or what she's doing or what Kobe Bryant's doing. Or you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's always an externalization. There's never an inner relationship. We're a living, walking biochemistry set. And you guys know enough about basic science to know if you have any 2 chemicals in a test tube and you throw any other chemical in there, you got something else, right? So what's the difference between that and food? Right? There's a big difference between drinking water and soda pop. We all know that. That just changes the biochemistry of your body. Well, the proteins, the blood, and the spiritual energy of the plant or the animal all change our natural, internal, physical, emotional, and mental reality. So the answer to your question is yes, there is definitely truth to that. And I've experimented with it extensively. And Rudolf Steiner and others have spoken about this, people that are trustworthy. And I talk about this, a lot about this in my audio series that's the expansion on my book, The Last 4 Doctors, a multimedia ebook called The Last 4 Doctors You'll Ever Need, How to Get Healthy Now, which I will give you guys access to as a gift. And I produced expansion audios, and I went into the spirituality of digestion, and I shared a lot of Rudolf Steiner's teachings, and showed that when we digest something, we have to completely nullify that to non-human, right? For example, research shows that we turn over every cell in our body every year. In other words, 1 year from today, not one single one of these cells is going to be the same, not even your teeth. Okay? So the question is, why is it that I can lock you in a jail cell and feed you nothing but lamb chops, and a year later you're not turning into a lamb? Most people don't think about that. Well, the reality of it is your digestive system and your spiritual force, your life force, has to take every molecule of lamb or anything that's not human, and it has to nullify it. This, as a metaphor, the same thing you got to do to erase a file off your hard drive. You have to put a surge of electromagnetic energy in there that nullifies the program, which is why if you take a magnet and run it near a cassette tape, it'll erase it, or a VHS tape, it'll erase the tape, because the magnetic charge is enough to restructure the magnetic impulse on the tape, which nullifies that there's any useful information there. So your body has to take each molecule and break it down to the point, then it energetically nullifies the idea of the structure of that animal so that you can reconvert that. Yet in the process, just as you can have an energetic transfer of water, and I'll give you a book to prove that to you. Not only can you look at Masaru Emoto's research. Have you ever seen Emoto's research on water? It'll blow your mind. For example, he shows if you take a bottle of water and write the word "I love you" on it and face it, just put it on there so it faces the water, and then the next day, if you take that water, and he does this, he's got books full of his pictures, he then puts a drop of that water on a microscope slide in a freezer, a walk-in freezer, and he takes photographs as the ice crystals are forming. When you say things like "I love you," "I'm happy," all those types of energies, just through the writing of the word, creates beautiful crystals. But when you say things like "I hate you," "I want to kill you," you would be shocked when you look at the pictures of the water crystals. They are gnarly. And you can see that the consciousness of the imprint that's behind the message actually has a change in the structural expression of the water itself. Now, it gets better. In 1947, at Yale University, Harold Saxon Burr, and you can see the pictures in the book Blueprint for Immortality by Harold Saxon Burr, he did a revolutionary experiment that very few people ever talk about. He took mason jars, you know, a mason jar is a quart jar of water, and he then got seedlings, and he planted 2 large groups of plant seedlings, which were exactly the same plants in the same soil. So group A, he had students, just normal students in his class. They took 1 quart jar of water, and they carried it around for 3 to 5 hours, if I remember right. Then he went to hospital wards where they had mentally ill people, and he had them hold on to the water. Then he brought the water back, and he watered 1 batch of plants with the water that was held by people that were mentally ill, and then he had another batch that he watered with the water that his students held on to. You would be mind blown to see the plants that grew from the water that was held by mentally deranged people. The plants did not grow to the sun. They were twisted, they were knotted, they looked exactly like crippled human beings. Their physiology was screwed up. It looked like they were diseased plants. And the only difference was who touched that water. What's my point? You can nullify the animal down so that there's nothing left of the animal idea, but you cannot get rid of what I would call the homeopathic resonance of the animal. It imprints into your water. You understand that?
Yeah.
So you can build a human being out of a cow. You can get rid of the material aspects of the cow, but the psychic energy, or what we will call the psycho-spiritual energy of the animal, is imprinted into the water itself, which you cannot nullify, and which you take into your body. So what I'm sharing with you, if it's not clear, you're bringing in the spiritual and the psychic energy of the animal you eat, and it cannot be nullified, so therefore it comes into your field and has an effect on your growth and development and psychic energies and expression of yourself.
Yeah, we've definitely experienced that firsthand from eating. We were eating at a restaurant, Casa de Luz, in Austin, Texas, where all the food is blessed and it's made by loving people.
Yes.
And it's actually cooked. A lot of it's cooked. And most of the time when I ate cooked food, I would feel weighed down after eating a raw diet, but I actually felt fine. I actually felt better than fine. I could feel the love into the food.
Absolutely. So let me bring up another point. We already know, all of us, don't we, that most animals that are being eaten today are raised and slaughtered inhumanely. Isn't that true? Mm-hmm. But don't those animals deserve a lot of love for having sacrificed themselves for us, for the average individual out there who doesn't even know any better? Don't we? Wouldn't you, if you could rewind the tape and do it again? Wouldn't you want to thank those animals for this torture they went through just so human beings can eat and live foolishly? Mm-hmm. Because they sacrificed themselves. There's nothing more powerful than love. And all our Western culture is so in love with science, and if it's not proven, they don't believe in it. Well, good. Not a single scientist yet has ever been able to objectively prove what love is. And even the most staunch dogmatic scientist knows damn well that the most powerful nurturing energy there is on the planet is love, and they go home and love their children and love their friends, but they don't even know what it is scientifically. So when a guy like me talks about the energies of food and stuff, oh, that's not proven, that's not proven. Well, good. Lots of things aren't proven. Consciousness, nobody knows what consciousness is, but you don't walk around pretending you're not conscious because no one's proven it yet. You don't walk around pretending love doesn't exist because nobody can figure it out in a laboratory. So we've got to remember, I teach the 80-20 rule, so that we have to be able flexible to adapt. I don't like eating things that aren't free-range organic. I don't like eating things that are raised inhumanely. But if there's a difference between me starving to death because I'm traveling through airports and I can't get good food, then I'll take what I can get. I'll choose the best of the junk that I can get, unless it's so bad I just rather fast. But my point is, I take, if all I can get is a plate of chicken wings at TGI Fridays in some airport, and I know they were raised inhumanely and they got a bunch of hormones and crap in them, hey, who needs more love than that poor little bird? So I open my heart, and I bless that bird, and I say to that bird, you may have been treated unfairly, you may have been raised in a dark cage and been fed garbage food, but guess what? We're a team now, baby. It's me and you. And now we're going to have fun. And now we're going to make love. And we're going to do art. And we're going to dance. And we're going to sing. And we're going to teach people how to do a better job of raising animals. So your whole life had a happy ending. It's me. Right? And when you give your love to that food, if your sense of energy, I've had students come back after their first time of honestly and openly worshiping their food, and the energy is so powerful it makes them cry. Many times they've just burst out in tears. Oh my God, it's not dead. It's alive. It knows I'm here. Yeah, God can't die. Simple.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I told you grass doesn't grow on a busy street, baby.